G'day guys, today we're testing GasGas's Enduro range against their motocross range. The aim of this test is to find out if you guys really need an Enduro spec bike to ride on an Enduro track and to ride it fast. To complete this test we've got a completely standard EC250 and completely standard MC250. We've got a 7.5 minute Enduro loop with everything from deep creek crossings to logs to rocky and chaly hills. Apart from this, it really won't matter because I've got GasGas bikes. This test applies for any bike out there, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, doesn't matter. It's just to find out whether or not Enduro spec bikes are faster on the trail than a motocrosser. The aim of this test is to find out if you really need an Enduro spec bike for the trails. Alright, let's get to it. That's the motocross 3 laps done. Time for the Enduro. I've just finished my 3 laps on the EC250, and because of that I'm now finished my testing for the day. I feel that the Enduro was a little faster on the steep hills and over the logs, but apart from that, in the wide open sections and a bit more flowy turns, the motocross bike definitely had an edge because of its power. That's not to say that it wasn't a fair bit more physical. After I finished those 3 laps, I was definitely feeling it, and I felt that on the Enduro I could just ride it all day and wouldn't really have an issue with how I was physically deteriorating. Because of this, I'm really unsure which is going to be faster. I'm really keen to see which it is, and yeah, I'll talk about where I think each one was faster in more detail once I get the lap times in. Alright, before I get into the numbers and the lap times exactly, I'm just going to talk about which one I think was faster and why. I'm not sure which is faster. I think the Enduro and the Motocrosser were both faster in different sections. I believe the Enduro over time would be a lot faster, but because of its softer suspension, I couldn't hit things quite as hard as I could on the Motocrosser. So that gives things like really sharp G-outs, some logs, and some high-speed rocks easier on a motocross bike than they are on an Enduro bike. That's not to say that an Enduro bike is slow by any means. I believe that the Enduro bike was faster over the slower logs and the creek crossings that weren't so jarry. I believe that this kind of soaked them up a bit better and got traction to the ground on the other side a lot better than the motocross bike did. I found myself on the motocross bike a lot more physically deteriorated, and then after I finished those 3 laps, I was really feeling it. I had a pretty bad arm pump after about 2 laps, and that forced me to ride a lot smoother and a lot smarter than I was on the Enduro. I just felt on the Enduro I could kind of flow state, not have to think about much, and that allowed me to really kind of focus on the things that were the tasks at hand. Whereas on the motocross, I had to kind of think about my lines a lot more than I usually would. Had to think about where I was going to hit a log, and if I was like to get up a hill in this section, would it be faster here or here? I had to think about a lot of that in the motocrosser, and a lot of different obstacles I had to open up a lot more. Whereas on the Enduro, I could kind of ride with it and take it where I wanted to go, and wherever I ended up, I wasn't too worried. Whereas on the motocross bike, I had to really be precise with it. Coming into a corner, a few tight ones, I had to come in a lot wider and kind of force it around to the inside. Whereas on the Enduro bike, I was just flowing there. That was where I was going. I wasn't too stressed. I felt as if I was going fast, and smooth is fast and fast is smooth, so I felt pretty smooth on the Enduro bike. But on the motocross bike, it was faster in the open sections, there's no doubt about that. There's a few sections over on the top of the hill there, where it's like a bit of a grass track. That is where the motocross bike is faster. That's where it's in its element. I believe that some of those more open sections are going to be a lot faster on the motocross bike. But that's not to say through the techie creek crossings and the rock hills that Enduro bike is going to be slow. That is where it's going to be so much faster than in a motocross bike, because you don't have to force the bike to go anywhere. It just goes where you want it to go. You don't have to worry about it. You can weight one peg one way or weight it the other way. It doesn't matter. It's going there. Alright, with that said, I think it's time to look at the numbers. I'll pull up. I haven't looked at them yet. I've had someone else write them down, and we'll look at them now. The motocross laps are as follows. Lap 1, 7 minutes and 51 seconds. Lap 2, 7 minutes 48 seconds. And lap 3, 7 minutes 45 seconds. That's a difference of 6 seconds between laps 1 to 3. That means that lap 1 was obviously the slowest and lap 3 being the fastest. Although I had arm pump and although I was becoming pretty tired on the bike, I believe that because I was riding smart and I was really using the whole width of the track on the motocross bike because I had to, because of how physical it was. That's why I was able to keep lap 3 as the fastest instead of getting gradually slower. Alright, time to see the lap times on the Enduro bike. Lap 1 on the EC250, 7 minutes 43 seconds. Lap 2, 7 minutes 39. And lap 3, 7 minutes 38. So yet again, over the 3 laps, I did become faster. And between the 2 bikes, there's a gap of 7 seconds. So essentially for me, I found that on my track, for every minute I was riding, I was 1 second faster on the Enduro bike than I would be on the motocross bike. Now that's not to say that, if you're riding some more open stuff and you're maybe like you've got suspension set up for Enduro, you're probably going to be a little quicker on the motocross bike than I was, but that's not to say that you can't ride a stock Enduro just as fast as you would a motocross bike in the open sections. I just found that through the tighter stuff, the Enduro was faster, and that's shown in the lap times. So this test really showed that, you know, an Enduro bike is capable in some open sections, but it was more about seeing if a motocross bike was able to handle the bush, which it is, it's quite capable, but for the way I have mine set up, which is more of a motocross thing, I did pull the forks through to make it a bit tighter turning. I dropped a few clips front and back to make it a little softer, but I did find that the Barky power made it really tough on my shoulders and upper back. So this test really applies to any and every brand, whether it's Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, it doesn't matter. The Enduro bikes are, like, they're obviously built for Enduro. So I think that, you know, in the bush, they're gonna be faster off the showroom floor. But when you build one of these up, they can for sure be fast on a motocross track. Hey, we might even test that in a few weeks. And yeah, if you guys like this video and want to see some more content like this, let me know. I'm planning on bringing out videos every fortnight. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you want to see in the channel. Thank you.